Diversity and inclusion are one of the most important topics for universities. Why? Because the whole environment we are working in is changing a lot. So we want to have an international impact, we want to be global players in the educational field, and of course we want to play a very important societal role. Therefore, we have to deal with diversity and inclusion, inviting many different groups and students and faculty members with different cultural backgrounds to be part of the university and the university life. Also from an issue of competition, of course, it is important that universities are dealing with diversity and to provide safe spaces for different groups to study and to work. I think there is a big shift because basically we were very much focusing on the industrialized world and on partnering with institutions, I would say more from the West. But in the last years we have changed a lot since we have seen that most of the problems we are facing and we want to solve, we can't do from a local perspective. We have to take a global dimension. And therefore, of course, we need partners from all over the world, in particular also from the Global South. Artificial intelligence and virtual reality and so on are not new concepts. But what the universities do face now is that they are kind of having an impact on the ways we are teaching with. So we have new generations of students. They are very much used to all these new tools. And universities are basically, I would say, kind of a traditional institutions. And now we have to define what can we delegate, what kind of learning or teaching can we delegate to the new technologies, and what is the unique selling point of universities. So, for instance, what does it mean that we are educating people, that we are educating the future leaders? What kind of social skills do they need? What kind of attitudes? What kind of value systems? This is, I'm pretty sure, is not an issue of artificial intelligence. That's an issue of meeting, talking, discussing, critically reflecting, and having a lot of different perspectives in one space, in one classroom, and to be able to deal with complexity of the future tasks they will face. Online teaching, the new tools we learned during the pandemic are nice, and additional features we can use for highly effective learning processes and learning situations. What we cannot delegate to the new instruments and to the new tools is the learning and studying experience. And this always means that you are dealing with social interactions, that you are dealing with groups and group dynamics, that you learn to listen and to talk, that you learn to co-create knowledge and solutions. This is something I think that the universities have to emphasize on, because this will be the USB and this will actually be the key issue we need to legitimize universities. So what the students will need in the future is to deal with multicultural settings, to deal with highly complex situations, and to be able to analyze and come up with solutions co-created with different stakeholder groups. That's something we will not and we cannot delegate to artificial intelligence systems. There's a long discussion on what is education. Is it a public good or is it a private good? A public good approach would say that there is an interest of society to have highly educated people. Now the deal is in a concept of education as a public good that it is publicly funded. But in return, the society is expecting that as a highly educated person, you will get a good job and you will pay a lot of taxes and refund this kind of system. That's, so to say, the societal contract of education as a public good. If you are looking at the idea of education as a private good, that basically means that you are investing in your market value. And this is a private issue. So you will be able to pay for increasing your market value. But then, of course, you will have a high salary, and then normally that's combined with a flat tax model in society. Personally, I would argue a lot for education as a public good, because it is not an issue of who can afford a higher education, but it must be a societal interest in having highly educated people and those who are aware of the societal role they play. The expectation what universities should deliver is growing. So we started with teaching. Actually, universities have been originally teaching institutions. Then we became research institutions. And several years ago, it was clear that knowledge transfer into society is one of the most important tasks of university, what we call nowadays the third mission. That means that I am, of course, interested in, for instance, my faculty members, that they are contributing to evidence-based politics. And that is the role of the university. It's not in terms of, being part of political parties and their ideologies, but to provide empirical evidence and scientific knowledge in order to improve political decision-making. The third mission tasks are important because what we face is that we have to legitimize public funding of universities. And this only can be done if universities prove that they have an impact on society, which means that they have an impact on politics in a country by providing empirical evidence and to improve political decision-making. Every good curriculum allows for personal priority setting. However, I think it's not an issue of anything goes. So as an institution, of course, we also would like to see our students that they have a high level of qualification and that they are highly competent. And therefore, of course, the institution would have to define what is a very specific qualification profile, because also the external world has to rely on what the university, so to say, is guaranteeing related to the qualification profile of the students. So my argument would be, of course, we need flexibility. We can't force all the students to be interested in the same things. That's also not part of our self-understanding. However, the quality assurance has to be part of the university's system. Future university leaders will face a lot of different challenges. First of all, they will have to argue in the public why universities are necessary and why they play a crucial role in democracies. Secondly, of course, university leaders will have to moderate the internal discussion and discourses on how to develop further. I think it's not so much about, a kind of an authoritarian way to specify what has to be done, but to be able to facilitate an environment that the academics as well as the students can discuss issues, societal issues, and that they can come up with solutions. And finally, I think it will be even more important to explain society what is the USP of universities. And even if we are living in Europe, academic freedom is not completely free of the risk to be limited. So I think also the defense of academic freedom and institutional freedom is one of the crucial issues in the next decades. If I would have to picture university in the future, they would be learning and knowledge spaces, allowing different kind of groups to meet and to come up with solutions serving the further improvement and development of societies.